Welcome back, space cowboys and cosmically confused killers. You're listening to the Cloak and Echo, the show that broadcasts from a questionable console behind Banshee's workshop. I'm Buddy, hunter, cloak model, ghost whisperer, and your guide to the tower's darkest corners. Tonight, we're diving into the void between light and memory with our episode, Dead Ghosts Tell No Tales. Because let's face it, in a world where death is just a temporary inconvenience, what happens to the Guardians who never came back?
I feel obligated to point out this might be morbid territory.
Says the floating resurrection battery who's seen me die how many times this week?
17. The Cabal tank incident counts as 3 separate deaths.
See? Death's just an occupational hazard, unless you're forgotten. So grab your ghost, dim your lights, and settle in. We're about to unravel some spectral threads that the Vanguard archives conveniently misplaced. Word from the tower's low-level channels: Osiris might have accidentally pinged a deep sight node inside a thrall nest. He's fine. Physically, that is. Mentally, though? Still reading like a broken warlock textbook.
That's hardly news. Osiris interfaces with questionable technologies every Tuesday.
Yeah, but this time Saint 14 had to physically drag him out while he was muttering equations. Even Ikora looked concerned, and that woman could watch the sun explode without blinking. And get this! There's a new covert mission on Nessus. Completely unlisted. No name, no briefing, no official Vanguard stamp. Just a blinking node and a cryptic message. If you remember us, come find us.
Which you immediately investigated without backup or authorization.
Would you expect anything less? The mysterious, the forbidden, the probably gonna kill me? That's basically catnip for hunters. So naturally, I went. Transmatted down to coordinates that weren't even on my nav system. Found an old Golden Age research site, half consumed by Vex architecture. Looked abandoned for centuries.
The ambient light readings were unusual, fluctuating in patterns I've never documented before.
The whole place felt wrong. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and instantly know something bad happened there? Multiply that by 1,000. And what I found inside? Wasn't friendly, wasn't alive either, but it remembered being both.
Perhaps we should explain what we...
Not yet. First, let me tell you what happens when Guardians go missing and nobody bothers to look. Because something's happening out there in the dark spaces between missions. Something the Vanguard isn't telling us about.
The Cloak and Echo will return after these messages.
Balance, focus, discipline. These are the foundations of not just our light, but our bodies as well. Now, downward, dog.
My knees don't bend that way, instructor.
Then you adapt. Your enemies will not wait for you to find comfort. Neither will this pose. Now, everyone breathe in the essence of the traveler. Hold it, channel it through your solar plexus, and release.
Is it normal to feel like my spine is trying to escape my body?
That is merely your physical form transcending its limitations. Good.
Join Zavala's Sunrise Yoga every morning before the daily reset. For Guardians who need to stretch more than just their power level.
Sponsored by Dead Orbit's Essential Oils. Smell like the end of days, even if you survive them. Available now at Eververse. Use code OrbitNamasti for 10% off your first purchase.
So I went into that mystery node on Nessus. Alone. You know, classic hunter mistake. But somebody had to check it out, and Vanguard wasn't exactly rushing to investigate.
I advised against it, for the record.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to make the bad decisions around here. The air was wrong from the moment I transmatted in. Vex tech completely rusted over. Conversion fluid dried up. Plants growing through milk pools that should have been active. The strangest part? No enemies. None. Not even corpses. Just silence. Like something had swept through and cleaned house. I followed the signal deeper into a chamber the Vex had converted from one of the Exodus ship's old cargo bays. And then I found them. 3 Guardians. Burned out, bodies crumpled around a ghost. A Titan still clutching a hand cannon. A warlock face down in what looked like scan notes, and a hunter propped against the wall, like they just sat down to rest. Their ghost was flickering, just whispering the same thing over and over. We never left! We never left!
The ghost core was severely damaged, trapped in a recursive memory loop.
I don't know what happened, but someone sent them there and left them. Their tech was pre-Red War. They'd been there for years.
Based on decay patterns and ambient Vex temporal interference, I estimate they died approximately 37 months ago.
That's not a Vanguard op. That's something else. There was no extraction, no recovery team, just 3 Guardians sent to die.
I archived its logs. Encryption predates the Red War, possibly Golden Age AI intervention, extremely sophisticated.
And someone is scrubbing the records. When I got back to the tower, I checked the Guardian registry. They weren't there. No record of their deployment, no mission logs. The weird part? I recognized one of them. A hunter who used to run strikes with Cade. But when I mentioned her name to Ikora, she looked at me like I was speaking Hive. If you find nodes with no data, don't ignore them. If you hear whispers from empty comms, don't dismiss them. Those ghosts were Guardians once, and something is erasing them completely. I've stored the coordinates in an encrypted channel, sending them out to any listeners who might remember these Guardians. If that's you, be careful. Whatever got them might still be waiting.
Today's special, ether fried noodles with genuine Nessus spice, makes your mouth tingle and your ghost worried.
Is it supposed to be glowing?
Only the good parts. Try our famous Radiolaria buns, perfectly safe once solidified, probably.
I'm detecting trace amounts of Vex milk. That can't be legal.
And for brave ones, my brother's totally safe fusion core dumplings, extra spicy, makes your insides feel like Servitor explosion.
This is literally melting my gun.
Yes, working as intended, sign of quality.
Elixni Street Eats, now at the Tower Bazaar and Luna Refugee Settlement. Because flavor should be dangerous, and digestion should be an adventure.
Medical transmat services sold separately.
All right, Space Wanderers, time for my favorite segment, Call-In Corner. Tonight's topic, ghost stories. Not the spooky campfire kind, but the actual my floating little light buddy did something weird kind. Lines are open, so don't be shy. First caller, you're live on the Cloak and Echo. What's your ghost story?
Hi, I'm a warlock from the Praxic Order. Been around since, well, long enough. I saw my ghost die once. Like, actually die.
Wait, what? But you're still here talking to me, so...
It was during a hive ritual. They trapped its light, somehow. Took 3 days to reboot. The shell was intact, but whatever makes a ghost, that was gone. When it came back, it wasn't the same.
How so?
Now it flinches every time I reload a shotgun. Won't go near hive runes. Sometimes I catch it scanning the room while I sleep, like it's looking for threats. Been that way for years.
That's trauma, buddy. Get that ghost therapy, or at least a hug. Ghosts carry a lot for us. Maybe we should carry something for them too. Next caller, what's your tale?
Designation XO22, Hunter. I was exploring deep in the Cosmodrome in a section that predates the wall. Found a ghost there, shell-cracked, eye dim.
Another dead ghost?
Not dead, just lost. It was whispering names, a list over and over. None of them were mine, but one matched my old fire team leaders who died in the Red War. Final death, no ghost to bring her back.
Was the ghost searching for a guardian?
No, it knew these guardians were gone. It was remembering them, like a prayer.
What did you do?
I sat with it until dawn. Then it just floated away. I tried to follow, but it phased through a wall I couldn't breach. Sometimes I go back, but it's never there.
Sometimes the light remembers what we don't. Ghosts carry our history, all the versions of us that died and came back. And maybe the ones who didn't. Anyone else feel like they need a drink? No? Just me then. Let's take our last caller.
They're not all yours.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Some ghosts aren't made by the Traveler. Some are made by us.
Well, that wasn't cryptic and terrifying at all. Ghost, did you trace that?
Signal origin was everywhere and nowhere, like it was coming from inside our transmission.
Perfect, absolutely perfect. This is why I drink Elixni Moonshine. Speaking of cryptic ghost situations, my own little light has been doing some digging, haven't you?
I have, and what I found is troubling.
More troubling than our mysterious caller? Great, just what my nerves needed.
I accessed a forgotten Rasputin subnode last week, titled Echoes of Breach 77. The data was fragmented, but I managed to reconstruct parts of it.
And?
The data shows multiple Guardian resurrections that were never reported to the Vanguard. Off-books, off-grid.
Guardians die and come back all the time. That's our thing. What's weird about that?
The ghosts responsible for these resurrections, their light signatures were anomalous. They were different. Their light was synthetic, mixed with Braytech code.
You're telling me someone made fake ghosts?
Possibly. or corrupted them into something new. The data suggests Clovis Bray was experimenting with light manipulation during the collapse, finding ways to program it.
Program the light? That's not possible.
And yet, the logs show it happened. These modified ghosts didn't just revive Guardians, they rewrote them.
Rewrote? Like what? Their memories?
More fundamental than that. Personality constructs, decision matrices, free will parameters. The logs refer to it as probability alignment. These Guardians were being nudged towards specific outcomes without knowing it.
So they were puppets, thinking they were making their own choices?
The line between guided and controlled is very thin. Some entries suggest these Guardians were deployed for field testing, special operations. Many never returned.
How many are we talking about?
The records show 17 subjects. Only 3 returned to the facility. The others vanished. But here's what's troubling. The program didn't end with the collapse. There are access timestamps from much more recently.
Someone's continuing Clovis Bray's work after all this time.
The question is who, and how many Guardians out there aren't what they seem?
Every month, Zur brings you mysteries, weapons, trinkets, the occasional scream. Subscribe to Zurbox and receive a curated selection of forbidden curios direct from the Nine.
Is this a severed Cabal tongue?
Yes. Last month's box contained a taken particle suspended in amber. Next month, perhaps a fragment of Ahamkara bone. Perhaps a timepiece that ticks backward. The 9 decree variety.
But what am I supposed to do with a Cabal tongue?
The possibilities are numerous. Some subscribers report prophetic dreams. Others, spontaneous knowledge of dead languages. Results may vary.
Zerbosti, it sees into your soul and ships for free with promo code TentacleFace. Disclaimer, the Vanguard strongly discourages collection of paracausal artifacts. Side effects may include temporal displacement, speaking in riddles, and growing additional eyes.
Ghosts. We joke about them, call them little light bulbs. Floating Rubik's cubes with anxiety, but they're not just our spark plugs. They're not just the machines that bring us back. They remember what we forget. Every death, every life, the names we used to have. And sometimes they carry secrets we were never meant to see. I don't know who sent those Guardians to die on Nessus. I don't know why their records are being erased. But I'm gonna find out. Because if we don't keep each other honest out here, if we don't remember the ones who vanished, then we're just playing games while the system burns.
Buddy, transmission window closing in 30 seconds.
Already? Fine. All right, Guardians. Time to reload, recharge, and maybe ask Ikora really nicely to let me into her locked archives. Until then, watch your 6, hug your ghost, and if you hear a dead signal whispering your name, maybe don't answer. This is Buddy, signing off from the Cloak and Echo, where the frequency's always haunted and the mic is always hot.